It's the differential, outside diameter to outside diameter. If there's one thing that you take away from this video about pattern routing, if you learn that one simple thing, everything else will fall into place. I am going to make a pattern here, show you step by step how to do it, and it's a pattern that I need, and it's a pattern that's very, very useful, and I bet that every one of you can use this pattern as well. Regardless of whether you're building a freestanding router table on wheels for your shop, a dual router table like this, an accessory for your table saw to use the fence for your router, or for cutting one into any of your benches, they all, 100% of them, need this drop-in to drop the plate in. This drop-in is three-dimensional. It will hold the plate flush with your surface, but it'll actually hold it up. So you need this lip in it. And by creating this pattern, we're going to be able to do all of this without measuring, without thinking about it, and with 100% accuracy every single time. So if you make this pattern, you can then save it and use it in every situation that I just mentioned. I make all of my patterns out of 12mm, 1/2 inch AC plywood. The first thing you need to do in making a pattern is figuring out what your final cut needs to be. In this case, we're making a pattern to create a drop-in for these router lifts and router plates. I need 3 dimensions in this case. I need the width this way and the length this way, and then I need the thickness. With those 3 things, I can figure out exactly what my pattern needs to be. I like to make my patterns air resistant. I like them to do as much as they can so I don't need to think about it, or if I hand it off to somebody else, it's just a matter of dropping it on and making the cut. To do that, I'm going to put a little more thought, a little more complexity in my pattern to make it less complex in the use. This is the Paulk Smart Router Table Gen 2. It's the single router table. I also have a double. They are identical in just about every way. The spacing or the inset of the router plate is exactly the same. So I'm going to make this pattern so that this edge, all I have to do is flush it up to here and attach it to the blank slate, and I will get this cutout in exactly the same space or the same distance off this edge every single time without pulling out a tape measure. Now I have 4 dimensions. I have the 3 dimensions of the router plate, and I have the 1 dimension off the edge that I need it to be. I also know that when I put this pattern on there, I want enough space so that the router comfortably rides on it, doesn't get tippy. I don't want to make little thin edges when I put it on there that then the router could tip off. This here is the one critical edge, the one edge that the reference matters. So I'm going to make this edge the smallest between this and the top. I'm going to make the top a little bigger so I don't ever confuse them. With the size of the cutout and the space that I want for the router to ride on comfortably, it's a non-critical dimension, but I'd like it to be about 500 millimeters. And this piece of material I have is $4.95, so I can live with it being 5 millimeters less. And for the front to back, with where the cutout's going to be, I want to make it about 450 millimeters long. So this is pulling long enough, and I've made that mark. Now it's time to lay out the cut. And this is where I think about the cutter and the bushing differential. Again, that's all that matters. It doesn't matter how big the cutter is or how big the bushing is. It's the differential, outside diameter to outside diameter. If there's one thing that you take away from this video about pattern routing, if you learn that one simple thing, everything else will fall into place. It's the OD, outside diameter, of your cutter versus the OD of the outside diameter of your bushing. Here's the thing that causes a lot of errors in pattern making. When you look at your cutter and you realize the OD is 3 millimeters. It's half of that. Because remember, when you're making your cut, you're only cutting from one edge of the bushing to one edge of the cutter at one time. So I need to think about 1.5 millimeters on this side. And then if it's an inside like this, 1.5 millimeters on this side. That gives me my 3 millimeters, or 1/8 of an inch. I want my finished cut to be 80 millimeters from the edge of the router table. The pattern is going to grow the cut. So from that edge, the bushing is going to offset the cutter that 1.5 millimeters, or 1/16 of an inch. So I want to cut the line of the pattern 1/16 or 1.5 millimeters closer to the edge. So it'll be 78.5. I want it centered so there is no side-to-side dimension. So I'm going to find the center mark on this first. Industry standard for router plates and lifts is 11 3/4 side to side and 9 1/4 front to back. I'm not sure if the thickness is an industry standard. All the plates I have owned have been 3/8, and that's what this is. Now I've converted all of my numbers to metric, and that's what's on my plans when I show you how to build this. This pattern is going to be included with the Paulk router table Gen 2 and the Paulk dual router table. So both of those plans will include how to make this pattern, and I'll have those dimensions in it. The dimension from the front to the back is 9 1/4 inches. I've converted that to 235 millimeters. The pattern bit has that 1/8 or 3 millimeters that we need to account for. It's going to actually shrink this opening by the 3 millimeters. So I want to add that to the overall. I want to make the actual cutout in the pattern 3 millimeters wider than the finished cut I want. In this case, I actually want a little more room than that because these router plates come with adjusters, and these allow you to tighten them up. So you don't want to make it exactly the size of this so that's like an inlay. You want to give it a little breathing room. So I'm going to give it 1 millimeter this way and 1 millimeter this way. Back to the math. So if I start with 235, I add my 3 millimeters for the offset of the bushing, and then I want it to actually be 1 millimeter bigger. I'm going to add 1 millimeter to that. That extra millimeter now is not something you calculate in for every one of your patterns. It is what you want the final cut to be. So I'm adding the millimeter over here so I know what my final cut needs to be. So 235 for the plate plus 3 millimeters for the pattern bit. I'm at 238, and then I want 1 millimeter extra. We'll go 239. Width-wise, I'm 11 3/4. Converted that to 298. Need to expand the pattern by 3 millimeters. Plus, I still want that 1 millimeter of extra, so by 4. So I'm at 302. So I'm going to want this opening to be 302 wide. And I want that from the middle, so I'll take half of that, which would be 151, and set the line from the center back 151. Now I have it laid out exactly where I want the cutout, and I could take 5 minutes and make this, and the pattern would be ready to go. But I want to finesse it a little bit. I'd like it to be a little cleaner. This router plate has roundovers on it, so I want to account for those in the pattern. To do that, before I make these 4 straight cuts, I'm going to use this hole saw and drill 4 holes, 1 in each corner, and then I'm just going to connect the dots. I'm going to use this 1 3/8 hole saw to do the radiuses in the 4 corners. It's a close match to this. It won't be exactly perfect, but it'll be close enough. Since I'm doing everything in millimeter, 1 3/8 is about 34 millimeters, so half of that would be 17. When I'm drilling these holes, I want to go right to the line or slightly in. If I'm going to air, I want to air inside, leaving a little bit more material. I can always sand it. With the pattern complete, the final step is to test it. I don't want to take a pattern and put it on an expensive piece of material or onto a piece of material I've already invested a lot of time in the project only to find out it doesn't work. There's a few different methods for attaching your pattern to your project. The main thing is that it holds it down so it doesn't move, doesn't shift with all the pressure you're putting on it when you're routing. If I'm doing a finished project, a piece of furniture, a desktop or a tabletop or something like that, then I'm going to use double stick tape. And I always use this fast cap speed tape. This stuff is very strong and super thin. So once I peel this off and stick it on, it holds it well, but it doesn't hold it up at all like some of the thicker double stick tapes do. And I've also tried other ones that have actually not held that well. So my experience is that fast cap speed tape is the way to go. Another method that works in almost any situation are these 23 gauge pins. These wires are so small and there's no heads that I can pin the pattern down, and then when I'm done I can just pop it up and the pins will usually stay in the pattern, and then I can just take a pair of side cutters and kind of just roll them out, toss them. And the holes that are left in the finished project most of the time don't even need any filler. In this case, I'm going to be using this pattern to cut into my router tables. And I don't care if there's a couple of little holes. It's a work surface. I could fill them if I wanted to. They'd only be aesthetic. So I'm going to go ahead and just use some standard number 8 screws. Make sure the heads of the screws are below the surface so that your router plate won't bump into it. The first cut is going to be this lip. I'm going to cut this in all the way around and then follow it with the second router cutting out the excess. A 12 millimeter or 1/2 inch cutter is ideal for this first cut because I actually want that shelf to be 12 millimeters or about 1/2 inch wide all the way around. I'm going to also set the depth to 12 millimeters. The plate itself is 10 millimeters or 3/8, but there are these adjustment screws all the way around where I can dial it in and get it just really flush with the top. So I like to go a little bit deeper so that I can then raise it up. Once I decide on the depth it's going to be, I want to make sure that I cut all of my router tables exactly the same so that when I move a router lift or a router on a plate from table to table, that it's exactly the same. I don't have to adjust it each time. To set the router to 12 millimeters is pretty easy. I'm going to push the bit down until it touches the material. I'm on top of the pattern, and the bit now is set at 0. If I made a cut, it wouldn't cut at all. And then put the stop rod down and lock it in. So now I'm locked in at 0, and set the stop, then bring it up 12 millimeters. I like to double check that though, because this is just a big piece of plastic and there's a little play in that. 8 and a 4, and sure enough, it needs to be a little bit more. I did that cut in multiple passes because I wanted it good and clean at the top and at the bottom where the plate actually rests on. The final task is to remove the excess material here. So I've got to cut through all 18 millimeters, and I'm going to do that with a 6 millimeter cutter, and I want to do it all at once. That's too much, so I'll make a few passes just like I did with the other. As far as where it's going to cut, this is where it gets really simple. I'm using a 6 millimeter cutter and a 30 millimeter bushing. So the differential is 24 millimeters, and half of that is 12, which is right where I want to be. That is sweet. Perfect fit. I could have made the radiuses a little tighter. I was doing that by eye. I could have taken the bit and moved it in a little bit more, and that would have tightened these corners up. But this is perfect. I like it. If I weren't filming this and teaching you how to make and use a pattern, this would have taken at most 20 minutes. But going forward, I can now take this pattern and make these precision drop-ins for my router plates and router lifts on all of the router tables and benches in under 5 minutes. That's right, I can take this out, attach it, and once I have the 2 routers set up and ready to go, it's a 5-minute project. And I don't have to think about, is it gonna fit? I already know. This is dialed in, and that's what a pattern does for you. It's the Smart Woodshop's version of a CNC machine, where I know that I'm going to get the same cut over and over again. I've just put 3 new smart plans up on my website. The new Paulk Smart Router Table Gen 2, the Paulk Smart Dual Router Table, and the new router fence. All of the plans are available now for you to go and download and get them immediately. Make sure you subscribe and ring the bell. My next project, I'm going to build this router fence from beginning to end, and that'll be as a companion to the plans in case you want to build it for yourself. After that, I'm going to build a dual router table. This one is a prototype, and the plans are different. I changed some things, improved them, so I'm going to build myself a dual router table from the plans, and again, that will be the companion for those building the dual router table. But it'll also help for building the single. I'm not going to build another single, even though this is the prototype and it is different, the plans are different. I don't need a single, but everything I do with the double will work for showing you how to build the single. I hope the time that you've invested watching this video has encouraged you and inspired you to learn more about patterns. These are an incredibly powerful tool. They do what a CNC does, only they've been doing it a lot longer than CNCs, and there's actually a lot more flexibility with these as well. So learning to use a pattern, even if you have a CNC machine, is a really nice skill to have in your quiver. Mahalo.